What's going on, Eric?
Good to see everyone, man.
What's up?
Man, what a list here. We got some big names in the house already.
What's that, Coach?
It's pretty late for you, Jack.
Yeah, 12 o'clock. Oh, almost 12 o'clock.
Hopefully you don't have a match tomorrow.
Yeah, I've got a game tomorrow, but we haven't got to be there till a bit later.
Okay. All right, man. We'll get you tucked in here shortly.
Good man, good man.
Jack's night's just starting. Look at that backdrop. Good Lord.
You like it, eh?
It's an early night for Jack. It's only midnight.
Early, man. You all right? You all right, Bilal?
Great, man. Great to see you.
And you, bro, and you.
How's Dad?
How's pardon?
How's your dad?
Yeah, he's all right. He's just upstairs. He's in bed.
So be careful.
Give him our best, man.
I will do. I couldn't miss it. I couldn't miss this, so I made sure I stayed up.
Appreciate that.
Oh, it's big time. It's big time. Let's see how I can change this to see.
Just turn the AC on.
All right.
You're not going to be able to see everybody.
Stanley, what's up, big man?
He doesn't have his.
Got to hit the unmute.
Yo, Shuki. How's it going, bro?
We got Moko's in the house.
What's up, coach?
Hey, man.
Good. Charlie, lad. How we doing, coach?
Good. Glad you can make it, man. You had to leave the beach for a couple minutes tonight, eh?
Yeah, I snuck and went to the beach because the beaches here are closed.
That's the only reason you're on the call. We got Yuri down in Brazil.
Yuri's in Brazil, huh?
Yeah. Who else we got? No.
Nick, you're on mute. There you go.
Having a good time listening to you, Jackie.
How's it going, mate? You all right?
Yeah, can't complain. Been looking forward to this all week. Good to see some familiar faces.
Always, mate.
Oh,
Grind
we got
ahead.
Serge. What's up, Serge? I saw Navani pop in. We got Turnbull.
Yeah, shave a list.
What's up? What's going on?
I know everybody's sick of this Zoom stuff, but we appreciate you guys making time.
Oh.
I'm trying to figure out how to get everybody to look in the game.
On this call. Guys, this is our new left back, Niall Shabazz. Say hi.
Hi, now.
Say hi. See, this lefty already putting his left foot up.
Nick, they don't have any barber shops up in Michigan State, or what's going on up there, man?
Not quite. I made a little in-house bet with my brother. He came to visit over the summer during the shutdown, and we decided to make things interesting. So we're seeing who can hold out the longest.
You look more like an ice hockey player right now.
Yeah, I mean, I've had worse things said about me. I'll take it as a compliment.
Come on, ya.
Yo. Good, G.
He has a game he's going to get on after.
What's up, Papo?
So, hey, just to give everybody a quick preview here, once we go live, we've got a little bit of an agenda we'll work through. It kind of follows the seasons, to be honest, starting with matches that we had in May through June, then July. I'll try to pass the mic to everybody on the call just for, a quick 2 minutes, share some stories or memories or really anything you want. But we're going to try to keep it moving with the hopes that, we're done in less than, 55, 60 minutes. There's some pictures that our media teams put together along with a couple videos and stuff like that. And then we've got some questions from the fans that we'll throw out to some guys as well. So thanks everybody for being on the call. And I think we're going to go live here in the next 60 seconds.
We're live.
Oh, we're live. Wait. All right, we're up and running, man. Hey, we're ahead of schedule. Beautiful. So first and foremost, just want to thank everybody for joining. Former players, we've got former staff on here, the technical staff as well as interns. Bilal's on the call. I think we have a couple of our other owners who have joined in as well. When you think about AFC Ann Arbor and special teams that we've had over the past few seasons, at least my time with the club, this 2018 team is definitely one of the special groups we've had come through the club. So really excited to connect with everybody, see where players are at now. I know a lot of guys are still involved in the game, whether it's playing or coaching or different roles, but also really want to reflect on this 3 months that we had together. We always say at our end of the season meetings, we're just a small, glimpse of your soccer career, the time that you spend with us in Ann Arbor, but we always want to make a big imprint during those 3 months. So thanks again for everybody chiming in. And with that said, we'll get going with the first guy that we wanted to talk to here, with the time change and everything that's going on in his world. We wanted to get him in first because he may have to sign off early, and that's our big man, Mr. Stanley. So Stanley, we just wanted to give you the mic to open things up, man. Obviously, you're doing big things. We're all following your career, and we're all blessed for the time that you were able to be with us. So love to hear any feedback you have, whether it be with what you've got going on right now or any special moment you remember with the club.
First of all, is to thank you guys for this, whatever you've decided to do. I think it's an amazing thing for us to kind of link up again to revive the moments we had together. I think it's something so special. That's why we stayed up so late to try and link up with you guys, because we had like amazing moments together. And I think, I don't know any specific thing that sticks out to my mind, but maybe the first game and the game against Detroit away, and also winning like the championship. It's unfortunate we lost on the playoffs, but I mean, we tried our best. So those are kind of the few memories that still stick with me, and like the unity we had in the team, because it wasn't just like a team to me, but for me and Chris, it's like one huge family. So that's one thing that we really appreciate, and it will forever stay with me.
Yeah, that's brilliant. No, I mean, for you to spend time with us and all the energy that everybody on the call gave to the club is huge, and to see you move on in your career has been really special for us as a club. And obviously, for everything you've given, we're always going to be there to support you from now moving forward. And I know our fans still enjoy watching you play as well. So it's fantastic that you were able to join in for a couple minutes here.
That's a pleasure.
Perfect. So we'll move on to the next guy. And we're going to try to get to everybody as we go through the call here. But the story that I wanted to start with is we're going into our last preseason match of 2018. I know a lot of you guys on the call here might not have even been in the team at that point. I don't see Shakes on the call. Jack, do you talk to Shakes at all? They don't do the mute button in England, apparently. So
Yeah, you're muted.
No, can you hear me, yeah?
do you talk to Shakes at all?
Yeah, I speak to him every day. I spoke to him today. He said he's got to be up early for a game. So
Okay. First time in his career he's ever gone to bed on curfew, right?
yeah, probably, yeah.
So we'll start with the story. We're playing Saginaw Valley, last preseason game of 2018, and we're playing at, I believe it was at Skyline or Huron, right? Yeah, at Huron. And, we've got Nick in goal, who's on the call. And, we're excited to have him with us. We had Hunter Morris, young goalkeeper, coming in to be with us that season as well. And sure enough, in that match, Shakely, who's coming in to play for us, goes in for a late challenge with Nick and breaks his hand. So now it's like, oh man, last preseason game, we got to find a goalkeeper now. Like, what are we going to do? So we start looking through, our database, guys we've seen, players who would come into our combine. We're like, there's no way we're going to find a goalkeeper with 1 week left in preseason here. And sure enough, who's the guy that we end up finding? Mr. Mike Novotny. So, just how crazy the football world is and how sometimes small it is. I see Bilal's holding up the jersey there. So we wanted to pass the mic to Novotny next, get his feedback. Obviously you've got 2 years under your belt in USL. We've all been excited to follow your career, but would love to hear, maybe a special moment or a story of you coming into the team a little bit late, after some of these guys had been committed, for a couple months leading into the season. And, we were pretty fortunate to sign you in the 11th hour. So we'll pass the mic to Novotny here.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. It was definitely a fun summer for me. We had a great group of guys that quality on the field, and then a great group of guys off the field as well. So I mean, a lot of the moments that stuck out to me, I think it always has to be those Detroit games. Those were always big memories for me. Whenever we came through at home and Moko headed in the last second, a game winner away. And then obviously when we went to their place and get a nice little goal that we won't talk about, but he gets beat near post and hold off there. And I don't know, there's a bunch of big games that stood out to me, but it was just a bunch of little memories that definitely made it into a great summer and a great team. And one to look back at is that was a great team to be on for sure.
Good stuff, man. No, thanks for sharing that. The next guy we got to get to, you just mentioned his name. I remember we were playing that US Open Cup match over at Eastern Michigan University. And, we still had guys that were, waiting to get into the team at that point because it was an early game. So I'll never forget at the end of that match, I'm walking off to the other side of the field and I see this. He looked like a GQ model from New York who had just flown in. He's got like these big suitcases. He's got the shiny shoes. I'm like, is this a footballer or a male model? I wasn't quite sure who was coming to join the team. And sure enough, it was our boy from TNT, Mr. Moko. So we wanted to give Moko the mic here, not just to talk fashion, but we wanted to know what your thoughts were of that game-winning goal against Detroit at home.
TNT. Yeah. I remember coming in, to that first game. The game where coach saw me in my suitcase and everything, and I was just so excited. So that Detroit game came around, and I was just buzzing to play. And to my memory, I remember I wasn't having the best game. For some reason I couldn't make a good pass, but everything else I was doing fine. But I just couldn't make a good pass. And at one point in the game, I saw I think it was Frenchie. He was looking at Eric like, what's going on with him? Like, why can't he make a proper pass? Because I was fine in training. Like, everyone knew I could play. And then that goal happened, and I feel like it just was the perfect timing for me. It's something that I will remember for the rest of my life. I feel like it set the tone, for me for my for the rest of my time in Ann Arbor. And that was just a way of me, stamping or introducing myself rather, to the whole Ann Arbor family, because I feel like no one really knew, who I was or about me, before coming in. And that was just a way of introducing myself. So I feel like that was a turning point, in even though it was the first game, in my stay in Ann Arbor.
What an introduction it was.
It was beyond what I, could imagine, for sure.
That's big time, man. And you're back in the homeland at the moment, correct?
Yeah, I'm back in Trinidad right now. Yeah, so in Trinidad right now, there's a bunch of restrictions. The beaches are a big part of life in Trinidad, and that is something that has been closed for the longest time. So actually, was it Tuesday? I actually snuck and went to the beach, end up like having a dip in the water like at 12 a.m. So yeah, so that's how it's been in Trinidad. Football has been I guess on pause, so we haven't played a game since March. Yeah, so it's been a struggle in terms of playing and all that, but I've been training like normal.
That's good, man. We're super happy you can make it in tonight.
Yeah, we'll miss it definitely.
Yeah, we'll keep it moving here. So we wanted to get in kind of this next stage of the season. Obviously, we opened with that massive win against Detroit. We're moving on to some of the next games that we had coming up, which were somewhat easier opponents. But the next match I believe we wanted to touch on was our match against Indiana, where I think it was Yuri who set club record for most goals scored in a game, which was 4 goals in that match. I think we got Yuri on the call here. I don't know if he can chime in or not, but check in with Yuri. He's a player who's been with us for more than one season, has played an integral role. I mean, he was with the club my first year, back in 2016, and played, I believe, 4 seasons with us. So special player to have in the group, and would love to hear if he can chime in here and give us some feedback on that 4-goal performance.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, finally. I was trying to figure out here, but I couldn't. My front camera is broken, and here in Brazil it's too expensive to fix it. So it's gonna stay like that. I think I got injured and I got back to play like in preseason 3 weeks before, and that game was like amazing. First half I could like Ramirez and all the guys made like all the plays. For me, it was amazing. It's one of the matches that we'll always remember because it led us like to everything in the end of the season, like a lot of goals. We were like one of the, I think, second in the country with most goals and best defense. So like it was a team effort for sure.
So you're back in Brazil at the moment, and the $1 million question is, are you finally healthy?
Oh yeah, finally.
They're gonna get some Brazilian bubble wrap out so it stays that way.
I did like 7 months of physical therapy, and these last 2 months was just fitness and a lot of running. Believe me. So I'm on my best like right now. My fitness level is unbelievable, but it's hard with everything what is going on in the world. There's like not a lot of options to go right now. Just waiting everything to be safe and over.
Be patient, man. Your time will come.
For sure.
That's good. I'm glad you could join us, man. Obviously, you're up on the list in terms of most goals scored in our club history. So it's always nice when we can reconnect, man.
Well, thank you. It's my pleasure to be with you guys, and I miss you guys a lot, especially the fans and the staff.
Brilliant. All right, man. We'll move on to the next guy here. So go rewinding, just to lay the backstory here. But we had a couple late additions. We mentioned in that preseason match against Saginaw. Nick got hurt. We were able to bring in Novotny. There was also another player playing for Saginaw that impressed us during that match that was not committed to being with us that season. And after the game, I remember speaking to Saginaw's coach, who had pretty positive things to say about this player. And, we're always about giving players an opportunity and taking a chance. So he said, all right, let's take a chance on this guy, which happened to be AZ. So I think AZ came into the team a little bit late. But at this point in the season, after I think 3 or 4 games under our belt, you know, he had impressed in training enough to start breaking into the team, and obviously became an integral part of our group for the 2018 season, and has gone on to do big things both in the college game and now with the year under his belt in USL League One. So wanted to pass the mic to AZ. You know, obviously you joined us late, but found a way to make a big impact for that 2018 season, and would love to get your thoughts and any reflections you have.
Yeah. First of all, I just want to say, obviously, hello to everyone. Hope everyone's doing well. Great group of guys. But obviously, I wouldn't give that year up for the world. That summer was pretty big time for me. Just really playing with a lot of big time players, and I really felt that I made a lot of strides that year. And just being around the group of guys, the coaching staff was just also professional. So a lot of the success that I've had so far in my career, I'd have to credit it to AFC Ann Arbor, from the fans to the front office and the coaching staff and the guys. So just again, thank you for everything. And yeah, what a summer we had.
Yeah, amen. No, that's, yeah. I mean, the play, I remember obviously the goal in at Detroit, right? The assist in that match was one of the moments that sticks out in my mind from that season for sure. And with that, you know, kind of mentioning that away match at Detroit, we wanted to pass the mic to Captain Jack, who was a big part of that away match. I know, you know, from a defensive standpoint, we built a brick wall between Novotny and Okumu and Jack that match. I spoke to Sershan earlier today as well, who wanted to say hi. I know he was a big part of that match also. But yeah, I know, you know, Jack's back playing in the UK now, and you know, appreciate you jumping on the call tonight, man. Wanted to get your thoughts on playing in the US versus the UK, and also what you're up to these days, man.
Yeah, man. Well, like AZ said, it's a pleasure to see you all. You know, bring back such good memories. Like seeing everyone's faces, it just puts a massive smile on my face. It was the best summer I think I've ever had. You know, definitely. You know, it's held me in good stead for the last couple of years, definitely. No, but yeah, out in America, I was the standard. Like I said before, it's a lot more technical than it is back here. You know, back here is quite, you know, route one and very physical. So yeah, in America, it's very technical. Like coach with you, the coach is a lot different. You're very, very technical, and here it's kind of, you've got to be like a big brute, and it's quite direct. So yeah, it's a different style of play in both countries, definitely.
How many head balls you win in a game in the UK at the moment?
You know, I played a game on Tuesday, and the guy was, I think he was 6'8".
Oh my gosh!
And a guy called Denton. He's a big old guy, and he's probably like the biggest guy in the league. But that's every centre forward we play against. You know, they're like 6'5", 6'6", and every set piece, every goal kick, every throw in is try to hit into the box. So you got, as a centre half, you got to be aerially dominant. So that's what I'm saying. In England, in America, it's not so needed, really, is it? Like, obviously, I see in our league, heading the ball, not a lot of people done it. So yeah, it's different.
Yeah, I think back of all the center backs we've had, and in terms of aerial dominance and that presence, I think you're high on that list, man. It was always fun watching you go up, compete, those jumps in the air, and I wouldn't say it was due to your vertical jump. I think it's more timing, right?
Yeah, timing, of course. Yeah. But yeah, like I said, aerially, obviously aerially I've always been okay, but you know, technically, ball wise, playing out from the back, until I come out to America, you know, you taught me a lot, and I come back, hit the ground running here in England, and I was, before I come out here, I was at a certain level. I was in a league, and then I come back to that league, and then literally since America, I've jumped 4 leagues. So I'm playing only 4 leagues below the Premiership now. So I've jumped into the pro game in England, and that probably would have never been possible without you and Ann Arbor, definitely.
That's brilliant, man. No, it's been fun to track your progress once you went home, and obviously we've been hopeful to get you back for a summer, but we're not counting on that ever happening again.
Nah, I still want to come back out there. So I've told you that.
Yeah. No, it's good, man. Thanks, sir. I know it's a different time zone over there, so thanks for jumping on.
No problem.
we're gonna circle back to one of the Stony Brook boys here, who's all the way over halfway across the world, let's say, who still hits me up occasionally. Coach, you got a team for me to play on? Coach, can I come back over? You know, he's always got a smile on his face. He's always up to train hard. His free kicks are a little bit questionable, as we all know, but he's a good lad nonetheless. So we'll pass the mic to Mr. Serge, man. We'd love to catch up with you, brother.
Hey, can everyone hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, coach just passed me the mic, but he didn't have any questions for me, so I don't know, you know. But everything is things are different over here because we haven't been allowed to play. Only teams on higher level have been allowed to play. It's kind of boring, so I just had to find a work, and currently I'm just working and earning some money and training on my own.
Good, man. So what if you were to pick out one memory from the 2018 season or a special moment in Ann Arbor, what would you point to, Serge?
I mean, it'll be this picture that you just put on, coach. That was a great moment. Me scoring that goal. I think Okumu, Stanley, leading up to that game, he knew how upset I was because I wasn't scoring. I feel like I was playing pretty well, but like I wasn't scoring goals. And scoring that goal, I remember even crying for a little bit. And Stanley looked at me, was like, "Yo, why are you crying? The game is still going on." So it was pretty emotional for me. Yeah.
That's great, man. That picture captures it all. Perfect. Well, thanks for staying up late to be with us, man. I know it's getting early into the morning over there in Norway, so I'm glad you could make it.
Anytime.
All right, man. So moving on here. You know, kind of this next moment of the season, we wanted to check in on. You know, we're talking about players who came in late. You know, and staying on the Stony Brook path here. The next player we wanted to check in with, I remember the assistant coach, Coach Danny Nierde at Stony Brook, calling me. It was maybe like, you know, April timeframe or something leading up to the season. He's like, "Hey, what would you think about bringing one of our players in just kind of on trial?" I'm like, "Well, we kind of bring players in on trial who don't need housing or a bed or any of that stuff." He's like, "Hey, this guy will sleep on the floor. He'll eat the scraps of whatever the guys he's living with have left over. He just wants a chance." Like, well, is he good? You know, is he worth us taking the chance on? He's like, "Hey, man, this guy, he'll run through a wall for your club. He's a top defender. He can get forward." You know, and he went on. He's like, "All right, I couldn't say no. I'm like, all right, we got to bring this kid in and give him a shot. And if he's not good enough, I hope he has a change flight so he can fly back out in 7 to 10 days, you know?" So we decided to bring in Steven, you know, who obviously has become a mainstay in the group since coming in on that trial run in 2018 and became a big member of our club that year, and even in previous or future seasons after that. Was meant to be with us this past summer if the season wouldn't have gotten shut down. So Turnbull, walk us through, man, what it was like coming in as a trial guy. You know, there's probably some satisfaction once you finally broke into the group. And obviously you've been a part of us now for a couple of seasons now. So what would be a special moment or something you reflect on that year?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, like every moment that year was pretty special for me. You know, like you said, starting off as a trialist, you know, I came in with a different mindset. And that was kind of just to use every opportunity I could to, you know, sell myself in order to stay, you know, which ended up working out really well. Like I've had, you know, some of the best times with this club, and, you know, I'm so grateful for all the people that I've met, you know, from, you know, players to coaches to the chairman, you know, so happy to meet Bilal and, you know, everybody. So it's been really good. And I would say from that season, particularly, would be when I kind of got gifted, because I think I hit a little traffic when we played Grand Rapids away. and I wasn't actually set to start that game. And I actually, I remember, you coming up to me right before the game started saying, oh, Breno's not going to make it for the start of the game, so we're going to need you to step in and start. So, and I ended up, being able to assist, Shakes with a header, and we got a pretty important win over them at their place, or it was mutual location. I can't remember, but yeah, so that was a pretty huge moment for me, and I felt like after that, like it really allowed me to just kind of relax and just play, and just kind of break into the team, and I was just really grateful for everything that you guys gave me. So yeah.
Good, man. You got one more season of eligibility left, college?
Dude, yeah, I can't believe that I'm still in college, but I am still here. At 22 years old, I'm still in college. So yeah, my plan was to play this fall and then graduate, and look to make some moves into the pro game at that point. But with everything going on right now, the season got pushed to the spring. So I haven't determined if I'm going to stay and play in the spring, because I am set to graduate in December. But just talking with different people, they think that it might be best for me to stay for the spring, just to get competitive games in, while the search for pro teams is a little difficult right now.
Yeah. Good, man. Well, we'll be tracking and supporting you along the way, man. Glad you could join us. Obviously, strong Stony Brook connection. Coach Danny's not there anymore, so we're gonna have to link up with the next generation of assistants there to help us get the pipeline going again.
Absolutely.
Cool. Hey, we'll move on to the next guy that's on the call here. It's Ben. Obviously, he's been with the club every season that I've been with the club in some capacity as a player, and somebody who I think gave us a chance in year one back in 2016. It was my first year with the club. We're trying to build a proper squad, and somebody who had previously only played in the PDL, now the USL League 2 at that point, and took a chance on coming to play for us in the MPSL, and has been, this season in 2018 was a little bit of a different season for him, because he started strong with us at the beginning of the year, left to go play for an international event, and then came back to join the team late on. So we'll pass the mic to Frenchie here. It might be feedback on this season, Frenchie, your overall experience with AFC Ann Arbor. Probably 2 minutes isn't suffice to talk about all the memories, but yeah, give us a quick tidbit, man. We'd love to connect with you and get your thoughts.
For me, as you just mentioned, it's been so many seasons and years, and that everything almost kind of mixes around and that. So there is so many memories, and just I always say about how AFC, it's all I care about all the time. And I talk to B, I don't know, probably every 2 days, and it leaves me on read all the time, which is fine. But yeah, there is so many memories, and I think from that season, which is kind of weird, but I remember me and Hector were coming back from London, and you guys were playing in Detroit. Yeah. And we watched the game on the computer. We were at Starbucks in the airport, and when Chris scored, Hector jumped and hit the table and dropped both of our coffees. And everybody in the Starbucks just thought we were absolutely crazy people. But Hector was just running around the whole Starbucks, and it was pretty fun. You know how intense Hector can get sometimes. So it was definitely a good time. But overall, it's just, FC is just always means so much to me. And that's why I wanted to come back again this past summer, and we'll always be looking to have some impact within the club for future years as well. So
yeah, no, it's awesome, man. We appreciate all the summers you've spent in Ann Arbor. I know Ann Arbor's been good to you as well, and you were meant to be with us this past summer in some capacity, but it didn't happen. So we'll have to keep in touch about the following summer. But it's good to see you're still playing, man, and involved in the game, coaching and training players privately and all that. That's anytime we see one of our guys stay involved in the game, whether it's playing or coaching, for me, that's always a special thing. So thanks for taking time to be with us, man.
Yep.
So we'll circle back to one of the first names I mentioned. We mentioned that Nick Berry was with us for that last preseason game until Shakes shattered his hand. And then he was out for a while, right? He wasn't growing his hair like he is now, but he was out of the team for a little while, still hanging out with the group and checking in, but wasn't able to train until he got fully fit. And the way that the timing worked out, right? Novotny had to leave us a little bit early for an experience over in Europe, and just so happened that that's when Nick was getting cleared to come back and join us. So it's kind of crazy how that worked out. But, you know, Nick stepped back into the group, I believe, for the last one or two regular season matches, and then obviously was our number one goalkeeper going into the playoffs. Has gone on now. He's, you know, for those who don't know, he's the goalkeeper coach at Michigan State University here. So he's made a nice transition into the coaching side of things. But Nick, obviously it's been good to connect with you tonight, and glad you're on. Love to hear your feedback on, you know, training with Shooky or our club in general, and then any thoughts you had about, you know, being in the team, out of the team, and then stepping back into the group at a pretty crucial moment at the end of the season in 2018.
Yeah. First of all, my opinion of AFC Ann Arbor is obviously mirrors the rest of the guys. Absolute class from the ownership down. You know, I played against AFC a few years prior to moving to Michigan, and I moved here, and it wasn't really an option to go play for a team like Grand Rapids or Detroit. You know, so I'm glad I was able to work out. Like you said, the timing kind of wasn't ideal, but you know, I was able to come back. Me and Shakes are on good terms. Although I did, you know, kind of yank his shirt every now and then just to give him a hard time. But really enjoyed training with Shooky. Really enjoyed training with Novotny. You know, when good players want to play with good players, and you know, even guys like Jack and Stanley. Just being around those guys from a defensive standpoint, you know, helped me as a player, you know, and I still refer back to some stuff as a coach. As far as a memory of mine, obviously we played in some pretty big games. My fondest memory outside of actually playing with the guys, it just so happened that the 2018 season was the World Cup. So, you know, going in and training at a high level, you know, and banging with the guys, and then going back to the apartment and watching games was just absolutely awesome. It was a bit of a headache for the guys in the Church Street apartment to watch those English games with Jack and Shakes. I've never been around people that have ever been louder, but it was awesome. You know, so yeah, that's you know, kind of my story and my involvement with AFC.
Yeah, it's great, man. No, I remember when you played against us when you were in Milwaukee, and you know, Shooky had a connection with the goalkeeper coach there. I'm glad it worked out to bring you in, man. It was good. We had a really strong goalkeeper crew that season. I don't know if Shooky wants to chime in on any goalkeeper stories between Nick, Hunter, and Novotny that season. We had Shooky on. I don't know if he's still on or not.
Yeah, I'm right here. Not really a story, just more of cool watching the graduation of our goalkeepers, watching Nick go from a top player to a smaller school as a goalkeeping coach, and now up to Michigan State to be their goalkeeping coach, where he's now training Hunter, who was on our goalkeeping roster that season. And then watching Novotny go from an NPSL player to a USL player, and then still having the connection to bring him into a podcast that we've done. And then no sooner do we release the podcast that he gets thrown into his first pro game, down a man, and then next game gets to start, saves a penalty kick. So just watching all these guys, and with the TV capacity right now to have certain nights turn 4 or 5 games on in the basement and watch all of our former players playing at higher levels has been absolutely amazing.
Agreed. Yeah, it's a perfect storm, right? More guys than we've ever had playing at the next level, and more capacity to watch those games and track their progress, which is pretty neat. Cool. So, hey, I wanted to pass, we got a couple other staff members on here. Wanted to check in with Coach Rod, who worked a lot with our backline guys. You know, in 2018 was his first season with us. And I remember, you know, a couple weeks in, it's just kind of like, Rod doesn't smile much, right? But he had a smile on his face a lot after he got to work with some of the guys that we had in the back line. So Rod, I don't know if you have any, you know, memories or stories from that season you want to share.
Well, no specific memories. I mean, we all had our moment that we were excited and upset. But overall, it was a great experience for me. And as Shuki mentioned, that he gets to see the goalkeepers that he worked with playing at the next level. That's what makes me happy right now, seeing all these guys that, you know, playing at high level here in America and also in Europe as well. So it's great to see that everybody's still involved in the game, and that's what brings me joy right now.
That's brilliant. Yeah, well spoken. The next guy I wanted to check in with, if I say the Little Red Wagon, I think everybody will know who I'm talking about here. But definitely that season was Tito's first season with us. You know, I think he came in, I don't know what his expectations were. Maybe that would be a good question to ask, but became basically the jack of all trades, the first guy there, the last guy to leave. I mean, we would not have had the season behind the scenes that we had in 2018 if it weren't for Tito. So really glad you could jump on the call with us, man. Any thoughts? What maybe caught you by surprise, or, you know, you didn't expect to be the case coming in and having to basically put up with all of us in the 2018 season?
Well, you know, kind of first going in, I guess answering your question of kind of my expectation, I was going to school for the sports management, and I'm like, well, I need to make some money. I need to find like jobs. And I'm talking with my advisor, and they're posting things, and, you know, she brought up the AFC Ann Arbor, and even though it wasn't, I was looking at it as like, you know, not paid, but just the fact, the experience of going to that level, in PSL, and I was thinking, well, you know, just being around that kind of environment would kind of drew me to it. So whatever capacity and that I could be a part of, and definitely blew my expectations away of the fact that getting to know these guys maybe a little bit more than I wanted to, but you know, driving them, you know, from the airports, we had some good conversations, you know, at the dorm, you know, knocking on doors, screaming, you know, yelling Jack, and you know, getting them with, you know, with Frenchie, getting them within with you know, the local clubs, and working with the youth and kids, just, you know, those kind of experiences, and getting to know, you know, talking with Nick and to know their passions and things like that. That's something that I didn't think I would be able to do, but being able to see everyone, you know, kind of what their goals or what they want to do, and then actually seeing, like Shook said, seeing them, you know, excel and fighting for, you know, what they want. So it's really awesome to see that. So.
No, thanks for joining up, man. Obviously, you were with us another season after you know, again in 2019. So you've been a big part of everything we've done the last 2 seasons, for sure.
Enjoyed it.
Cool. Hey, so at this time, I wanted to pass the microphone to Ryan McCooch, you know, who's been a huge member of our club, kind of on the media side, interim side, working with Bilal in the front office. He's got some questions that have come in from the fans. So Ryan, I mean, if you want to ask them to specific guys, feel free, or if you just want to throw them out there for whoever, you know, feel free to handle that. And then after that, I think Bilal will jump in and share some stuff as well. So Ryan, go ahead, man. What do we have from the fans here?
Absolutely. Thank you, Eric. Thank you guys for having me on. The 2018 season has so many fond memories, and it has led me to where I am today with the club. So I have so much appreciation for that year, and it's great to see so many familiar faces. We had some great questions from the fans. I'll start with some more like specific ones, and then I'll maybe open a couple up to the group. One of the first ones I wanted to ask was specifically to Mike. We were asked by Gabby Garcia Severt, how did AFC help prepare you for the pro game? As whether it was your European experience late in 2018 or now in the USL Championship, what were there some key takeaways maybe from this from your time with AFC that you brought with you to your professional experience?
I think the biggest thing for me was the professionalism of the players and the professionalism of the coaches and the training sessions. So every training session that we had there, I thought, it was a very high level, and we had very high level players there. And when you have good coaches that want to be there, want to make you better, and want you guys to succeed, I think it's a good thing and a good kind of formula for success. So I think that just playing with definitely a higher level than I was in college definitely helped kind of bridge that gap in between college and the professional level. Definitely grew a lot during that 3 months when I was there. And honestly, I don't know if I'd be where I am because if I didn't do AFC Ann Arbor that summer. So I was very thankful for my time there, and very thankful for all the guys and the coaches and all the staff for sure. But yeah, I think the biggest thing was just everything was very well organized and very well put together and very, very professional as itself. So it could be run as like a professional team. So yeah, I thought that was the biggest thing for me.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's some awesome insight. I appreciate that answer personally, because that's something I've been thinking about a lot as well. Something else I wanted to ask was this for Captain Jack. You touched upon your experiences with the US versus the UK, but I wanted to know if maybe this level of competitiveness here in the US, did that surprise you at all, or was it about what you were expecting?
No, I don't think it surprised me. Obviously, I know I was coming over to America, and Shakes told me a lot about it. He said he played with the likes of AZ, who had obviously unbelievable bags of talent, and obviously the level of the teams. I kind of watched quite a few videos before I come out, so I kind of knew what I was coming up against. But yeah, like Navonte said, the professionalism of the team is next to nothing. Like I've never experienced it other than what level I'm playing at now, and so yeah, it's very, very professional.
Absolutely, yeah. I also wanted to ask Stephen this question. This was something I thought was interesting. The question is, did you pick up any good habits that you learned with the club, like game prep, approaching practice, that sort of thing? Something else I wanted to ask in that sense too is if you were able to like carry that over into your collegiate experience as well.
Yeah, actually as much as I disliked the early morning practices at 8 a.m., it was really good for me because I was able to, wake up and prepare myself for training because, like, Mike said, the trainings were really professional, and, I wanted to be as good as I can be every day. So I would wake up, to give myself enough time to eat something and, prepare myself for the training session as opposed to just, waking up and going. And I took that into college with me. So I think I put a lot more preparation into things now as far as like from a schedule standpoint, and like just making sure I get my, my mind and my body ready for whatever it may be, a game or a training session or something like that.
Absolutely. Another question I had is for Frenchie, being one of the longest tenured, maybe the longest tenured member of the Mighty Oak. I was just curious if there was a specific, maybe a specific memory or a specific reason that 2018 sticks out for you versus your other seasons with the club.
I mean, I think in terms of just records and just what we did on the field was just, I mean, I don't even know. I think I played 5 seasons now or 4. And we just, I mean, every numbers was just up there, like clean sheets and number of goals and for and against. And it was just like, I just feel like we were like a trend that was just rolling people over, you know, and like living and going in and out. And I watched a lot of games from actually the stands or, you know, on the bench, and like, it was just an absolute pleasure to just watch and just like enjoy those guys just absolutely literally just running over people. So I think just like this whole atmosphere of like we were taking business one by one and just like not satisfied with like, you know, a 2-0 win, and we just kept going and pushing and pushing. So I think that's definitely the biggest like memories that I have of that year.
That's a perfect segue to the next question I wanted to ask. I wanted to throw a question at Eric, where in terms of that 2018 year, like Frenchie said, so many records were broken both offensively and defensively. And it was really a landmark season for the club. My question is, were you thinking about those records as the season was going on as the head coach, or is this like a good time where you kind of reflect and are like, wow, like that season was special?
Yeah, I think you reflect on those things after the season, to be honest. I mean, during the season, it's just about the next game, you know, and you want to get a result, and everything in training and everything we do is just about being prepared for the next opponent, you know. And so even if you win a game and you give away a goal, you know, in the season, you might be frustrated, but you're satisfied because you got the result. But after the season, you look back and you're like, wow, that's pretty impressive, you know, and you start looking at things from a numbers standpoint. So, you know, and again, going into the year, I think in 2018, there was a lot of, it wasn't public, but there was a lot of kind of hype and expectation in my mind, just because of the caliber of players that we had coming in to the group, where you always want to, you know, put yourself out there to say mentally, hey, we should achieve a lot this season, right? Because the expectations that I put on myself and, you know, for the club are high. So, you know, for me, I think it was a matter of, you know, getting through each game and then looking back thinking this was pretty cool.
Absolutely. One of those special moments that we haven't even touched on is the other late Moco winner against FC Columbus to clinch the Great Lakes Championship and the back-to-back conference championship. So this question is for Moco, putting you on the spot a little bit. What's the more special goal for you, the Detroit City goal or the FC Columbus goal?
You know, I'm keen to say the second one that clinched the championship, because, you know, that's what it did. You know, it clinched the championship, which was very important. But, you know, personally, it was the Detroit goal, because it was the first game, and, you know, because of the huge rivalry. You know, I think that was definitely the most special goal in my eyes. And I think even to the club, even though the second one clinched the championship, I think the Detroit was the more important one for the fans, especially.
Yeah, I don't think you can go wrong with either of those goals. I mean, I've seen those countless times, and they're down in club history. And I would say you're down in club history as a clutch player. So I definitely appreciate those memories. This one is more for the group, and it's something that anyone can feel free to chime in on. But I had a question about were your favorite and least favorite places to play? So are there any specific favorite away trips, whether it's for the stadium or for the atmosphere, or are there any that maybe stick out as not so great?
FC Indiana, because of the length of the bus ride. End of story.
I figured that might be a popular answer for least favorite. I want to follow up on that as well. Shaki, feel free to answer this as well. But the Milwaukee bus ride, I imagine, is also not as fun. Is that a headache of an away trip, especially as early on in the season as it is?
To be honest with you, somehow unbelievably, coincidentally, both seasons we were at Milwaukee, I had a youth club game that weekend and was unable to make that bus ride. And Coach Rudlin championed the team on that bus by himself, I believe.
Yep. Solo trips every time. And I remember this 2018 season, like the shocks in the back of the bus went bad or something. So like the whole bus ride home, it was like bottom out, back up. Everybody's trying to sleep at 2 a.m. and it was terrible.
That's not a whole lot of fun. I know some of the bus rides can be fun, but I think, like they say, everything in moderation, and a long bus ride with faulty shocks does not sound like a whole lot of fun. I wanted to give a question to Jamie as well. Just a pretty broad question. If there's any specific fond memories that you have of that season, or if there was a specific game that you thought was really a standout.
Sure. Yeah. I think, the probably the standout memory in a lot of ways is Jack kind of climbing the fence in Detroit after the game. And, I know that's kind of a famous photo that winds up in a lot of our materials, but yeah, I mean, probably the other memory that really stands out to me clearly and painfully, I just remember standing outside the locker room door after that playoff game and having to kind of say goodbye to the guys one by one, knowing a lot of them, I wasn't going to see again. I got to see a few of the guys in the following days here and there, but after a painful loss like that, and it's you never know when the last game's going to be and when those guys are all going to catch a flight home or whatever the next day, and so just the hugs and the all the nice things that everybody of course has to say about how their season went when you're not feeling so great about how the evening went. But that's kind of a bittersweet part of it, is just to realize how close you become with the guys over the course of the year, and how much it means to us that they come play for us, and to them to be part of our club. It's just a really cool thing.
I couldn't agree with you more. I was talking about this with one of my friends the other day over the phone, where sports are really all about the extraordinary. And this 2018 season really puts into perspective just looking back at it now in hindsight and seeing just how special this team was as a whole. I think it's one of those seasons where, you have the ups and the downs, but as a sports fan, I feel like that's almost one of the things you live for. And I think, going through that with a great team, a great staff, a great group of guys in general, that's really what makes the 2018 season stand out for me. I want to pass the mic back to Eric or Bilal if you guys have, any other final words, since I know we don't want to run too late.
Sure, I'll jump in for a sec. First of all, I just want to say thanks to all the guys making time. That was a super memorable season, and to just get a little taste of reliving that and being connected with all you guys again, it's a great feeling. So I try my best to stay in touch with as many of you as I can, but it's tough, and just know that we're all thinking of you guys, following you guys. And when I reflect on the season, and actually any season, the football is amazing, but it's the off the field stuff, right, that really stands out. And so I'll start with that one memory where at the end of this was actually after the season, I was not in a great place after the regional final. And of course, I just want to be done with the season and hide in my cave or whatever. And instead of that, I get Frenchie and Odiambo come live with me, and Saima. And, I come back from work one day and Odiambo's in the kitchen just cooking up a storm, and Saima and him are watching Bollywood movies. And I'm just so confused at what's happening. And it just made me realize, like, you know, that's what this is about. And, you know, I was just, he actually sent me a message today. He's got training in the morning, so he couldn't join, but Chris refers to this as the best team he's ever played for. So, you know, in some regard, I think for a lot of you, it's going to hold that special place. And whether you realize that now, a couple years, 10 years, whatever, but the last piece for me is like what I take away from this season, that I think is super important right now is the mentality, right? Which I think Eric sets the tone, but we got a little extra boost this year from Okumu when he came into training. And you guys know how serious things got, like with those tackles that were getting laid down. You know, some comments about wanting to go play tennis if you can't handle it. You know, I'll just say things got real, like real quick. And that mentality of persevering, and Steven going from a trialist to stepping up. Like, think about the depth on this squad. Like, if you're not making the 11, you're like, I got to be in the 11. I want to be in the 18. And I mean, there's also super respectable people in front of you. And you know, if you're in the 11 or the 18, that you got 2-3 guys behind you ready to take that spot, and you're still bonded together. Like, that's a special mentality. So as you face the challenges today between, you know, racial injustice around the world, really, coronavirus and a global pandemic, keep that mentality with you that, you know, you guys can really overcome anything if you have that mentality of persevering and understanding that what you struggle through in the moment is going to make you that much stronger in the end. And that was my true takeaway, was losing in the PK, you know, penalties in that regional final was brutal, man. Brutal. But when I spoke to the fans, their most memorable goal ever in club history is AZ's goal. We lost the game, and that's the most memorable goal. So that tells you how special that day was to the fans, that you guys never kept fighting. And I think it's just amazing that we were able to get this amazing group of talent together and do what we did. It's hard to really understand how special that team was. But thank you guys for those memories and for tonight.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks, Bilal. A couple other guys that sent messages. Sershan, I mentioned earlier, he's on a flight right now from probably Germany to Istanbul. He sent me a message at the airport. He was wearing his AFC shirt, which was pretty cool. Mark Ybarra wanted to be on the call, but University of Michigan is actually training tonight, so he couldn't make it. And then Breno and Kaio wanted to be on the call as well, but they both had to work tonight. So a number of guys obviously couldn't make it, but definitely sent their best wishes and wanted me to say hi to everybody on their behalf. So with that said, guys, we just want to thank everybody for taking the time. I know we've all said that. This is a special group of men, both individually and collectively. It's been fantastic to see everybody make their move in their career and their life. We at AFC Ann Arbor are always here to support you. I hope you guys know that and believe that. And you know, we're really looking forward to staying in connection as you guys continue to press forward in life. And then, so with that being said, we want to turn it over. We're going to end with a little recap video here that Bruno, who's not on the call, made for our awards night. Some of you guys may remember this. And when the video is done, feel free to sign off, and we'll look forward to hitting you guys up soon. All right. Ready?
Yeah.